Jeff, I do want to ask one final what if. This isn't something that we threw on the research or any of the talking points or notes that I
Oh,
sent
here
you
we
ahead of
go.
time. But just hypothetically, what if when Dixie tries to do the power play in 2009 and you find yourself on the outside looking in, what if you would have called Vince McMahon and tried to go back to WWE at that point? I know you technically had ownership interest and shares, but would you have been legally allowed to do so? What prevented you from doing so? Did it even cross your mind? Did you have a preliminary exploratory? Did you send a feeler out? But what if Double J, after he's been sort of the man out front, the masthead for TNA all those years, if he shows up on Monday Night Raw and cuts a scathing promo, and you would have been the talk of the business in 2009, that could have been really, really fun to think about you making that jump. And let's be honest, '09 and 10 and 11, those are not necessarily banner years for the company. Certainly they're making money and profit and all that, but I don't hear a lot of people talk about things they loved from that era besides the Shawn Michaels and Undertaker match at WrestleMania 2009. But did it ever cross your mind? What if I called Vince and I know I've got shares in TNA, but if they don't want me here, I'll show you.
Two things. Why I didn't. The first is the obvious, and I know we're doing the pod here, but I'm surprised you didn't bring it up. But think about it. I'm 42 years old in 2009. Vince don't hire 42-year-olds and goes with them as a talent. He just doesn't. In my mind, Vince has no use for a guy over 40 because that's just where his head was at. And I know that's, and I don't even think it's a rationalization, but that is part of it. The other part of it was Toby. Like Toby, you got to think about look, and he had so many different businesses and super successful, but you think about our journey, uh kind of together, if you will. He spent over a year, but certainly all of 13, you know paying his legal bills, because when you get into that process and set up data rooms and exchange of information and valuations, and at first, Panda was very slow in releasing, and Toby's lawyers had to say, hey man, if we're going to get real with this, you guys got to open up everything. And I don't want to look at the last 2 years. I don't. I want to. I really want to look at a 5-year minimum, because it'll wrap my head around all of it, because I think there's a lot of opportunity here. He really wanted to get under the hood, and so that took time. But anyway, Toby had a lot of time and emotion into this. And when, Janice and the attorney flew from Dallas to Oak City and got off the plane and met him at his country club, and they were going to meet for early lunch before he played golf, and in their words, hey, let's figure out how we can close this deal. And their idea of closing the deal was, hey, can we do this without Jeff? And that ended the lunch before it got started, and said, hey, I'm going to go play golf, and y'all can get on back to Dallas early, but I appreciate y'all coming up. Thanks, but no but thanks. And that was, I mean, to me, and I get it, billionaires talking to millionaires, but kind of the yeah, I mean, he felt very disrespected that you guys are going to fly up here and you're going to look me in the eye, and the guy who started the company, who's my friend, and the numbers have already said all of this, that when he was running the show, it said one thing, and now we're here, and you guys, if you were making a boatload of money, you wouldn't be talking to me. But here we are, and this is kind of your Hail Mary to get a deal done. Peace out. I'm going to go hit golf balls. So Toby really wanted to give things a shot, and he looked at Global Force as an opportunity. Obviously, that's another pod, and we never got there. But those two things, Conrad, that when it went down and went south, that was the deal.
Well, the deal you've been looking for is at savewithconrad.com. If you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Go check it out. Find out how much money you can save right now for free. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket. But I'm talking to a lot of folks who have a little more month at the end of the money. Well, if you'd like to have more money at the end of the month, we can help. I'm routinely talking to families who are carrying more credit card debt than ever before. And listen, that's a rat race that you're going to feel helpless in. If you feel stuck making the minimum payments, I want you to know help is on the way at savewithconrad.com. How's this for starters? No house payments in April or in May. If you haven't already made your house payment, you don't have to make another one until June. That's your single biggest bill, and you get to pocket all of that cash. And come June, guess what? You're going to have a cheaper monthly payment. We're routinely helping our podcast listeners save up to $1,000 a month, sometimes even more than that. We helped a customer back in February save more than $2,500 a month. They gave themselves a $30,000 net raise. So how much money did they have to earn and pay taxes on and then just give away? Find out how much money you can save right now for free. You'll get a cheaper monthly payment. You'll get rid of all your credit card debt just like that. You're going to improve your credit rating along the way. I'd almost guarantee it. And did we mention the interest you pay on your house is tax deductible, whereas the interest you pay on these credit cards, if not? So you know you can get a better rate. You know you can get a greater tax deduction. You know you can get a cheaper monthly payment. All you needed to know is who to call, and that's us, toll free at 888-425-0105 or DM me. I'm on all the social media platforms. My DMs are open. You can even email me directly. It's Conrad at savewithconrad.com. And get yourself a quick quote. Even talk to a live person right now at savewithconrad.com. And listen, don't just take my word for it. Go check us out. Go to conradreviews.com. That's going to take you to our experience website. Everyone who closes a loan with us is given the option to leave a review. Now, not everyone does, but over 1,700 people have given us a 5-star review. Our average rating is 4.74 stars. We're like the Kenny Omega of saving people money. And we're ready to go to work for you right now at savewithconrad.com. Jeff, this was a lot of fun. I never know what to expect when you and I sit down and click record, especially with like an open-ended topic like this, like what if. But this was a great amount of fun for me, the what if. Did we miss anything? Is there any stone unturned?
No, I mean, that's the thing that I try to be conscientious of our listeners. And sometimes, do I need to go down this rabbit hole? Do I need to go? Because we could talk forever about the Vince story, the TNA story. Landell, where he, and I think Landell was a Dundee had been around forever. And I'm going back to that story, but Landell, for the timing in his career to come in, and he could have cared less, but Conrad, there is so many what ifs when you go 1 degree of separation on so many things. My college basketball, Dusty Rhodes, where he was at in his career, the Vince JR relationship, JR, oh boy, Conrad, when you take it one layer out of my sphere of decision making, it opens up a whole nother Pandora's box. These are fun.